Hello, beloved. Namaste and welcome to the blessing of this light circle together, this holy time together. Look as the light, to not look at the light, but as the light, our divine nature. The ego looks at the light, it screams and yells and wants to say the light does not exist. Yet as we look as this light, we know that this is all there is. Infinite light. So today we look at the denials, the argument with God over the lesson, which is really an argument with ourselves. Everything's an argument with ourselves about who we are. I will not value what is valueless. Jesus, will you show me any denials to the lesson? I will not value what is valueless. And show me where I'm valuing what has no value. Anything other than infinite light. It's just an admission that it is valued, so it can be looked at directly. It's so simple just to note the admission. Or hear him say, no, you no longer. That's a happy thought too. As you look down in there, I just asked him, he said yes. Okay, so show me. This is where it gets really funny. I'm willing to see it. And you just laugh and say, okay, you're right, Jesus, I do. There's still some things valued here. He says, see that it does, even if you value them, they have no impact on you, other than in a dream. Sometimes in teaching there is benefit, particularly after you have gone through what seems theoretical and far from what the student has already learned, to bring him back to practical concerns. This we will do today. We will not think of lofty, world-encompassing ideas, but dwell instead on benefits to you. This is the practical application. This is the Spirit's practical, for the world is very impractical, actually. This is a precious line indeed. You do not ask too much of life, but far too little. When you let your mind be drawn into bodily concerns, to things you buy, to immanence, as valued by the world, you ask for sorrow, not for happiness. Jesus, can you show me where I'm asking far too little of life? You ask far too little of life when you ask for things in form. This is manifesting. This is the wish fulfillment, wishing for differences. This is asking far too little. Ask for everything. Everything of value. When you let your mind be drawn to bodily concerns, Jesus, will you show me where I'm letting my mind be drawn to bodily concerns? So I may place these ever so gently, this desired experience in the light. To things you buy. Jesus, I'm willing to see things that I buy. Desired experience of valuing something that has no value for me. He says, see how you can be, you are unlimited by the experience of what you buy or do not buy. Is light limited by what is bought or seemingly purchased for the exchange of coins? To immanence is valued by the world. Jesus, will you show me a practical example where my mind is drawn into immanence is valued by the world? The attempt to see your image as being valued, the image of the ego, for something that you do, something that you seem to achieve. See how in this you ask for sorrow, not for happiness. This course does not attempt to take from you the little that you have. It does not try to substitute utopian ideas for satisfactions what the world contains. The world, there are no satisfactions in the world. Today we list the real criteria by which to test all things you think you want. Unless they meet these sound requirements, they are not worth desiring at all. They can but replace what offers more. The laws that govern choice you cannot make, no more than you can make alternatives from which to choose. Jesus, will you show me this desire to have an experience of making alternatives from which to choose? The choosing you can do, indeed you must. But it is wise to learn the laws you set in motion when you choose, and what alternatives you choose between. We have already stressed there are but two, however many there appear to be. The range is set, and this we cannot change. It would be most ungenerous to you to let alternatives be limitless, and thus delay your final choice until you had considered all of them in time, and not been brought so clearly to the place where there is but one choice that must be made. Another kindly and related law is that there is no compromise in what your choice must bring. It cannot give you just a little, for there is no in between. Each choice you make brings everything to you or nothing. Therefore, if you learn the tests by which you can distinguish everything from nothing, you will make a better choice. First, if you choose a thing that will not last forever, what you choose is valueless. This law is not breakable. A temporary value is without all value. Time can never take away a value that is real. What fades and dies was never there and makes no offering to him who chooses it. He is deceived by nothing in a form he thinks he likes. Father, Jesus, show me where I'm choosing things that have no value. This is choosing thought over divinity. This is compromise to choose the valueless. Was that beautiful movie last night, What Macy Knew? What a beautiful symbol and form of a child, 6 or 7, always chose love, always choosing the value, what has the most value. Next, if you choose to take a thing away from someone else, you will have nothing left. This is because when you deny his right to everything, you have denied his own. You therefore will not recognize the things you really have. Jesus, will you show me examples of where I'm choosing to take a thing from someone else so that I'm left with nothing? You therefore will not recognize the things you really have, denying they are there. Denying they are there. Who seeks to take away has been deceived by the illusion loss can offer again. Yet loss must offer loss and nothing more. Your next consideration is the one on which the others rest. Why it's the choice you make of value to you. What attracts your mind to it? What purpose does this serve? These are powerful questions. Here it is easy of all to be deceived. For what the ego wants, it fails to recognize. It does not even tell the truth as it perceives it, for it needs to keep the halo which it uses to protect its goals from tarnish and from rust. Then you may see how innocent, in quotes, innocent it is. Yet is its camouflage a thin veneer which could deceive but those who are content to be deceived. Its goals are obvious to anyone who cares to look for them. Here is deception doubled, for the one who is deceived will not perceive that he has merely failed again. He will believe that he has served the ego's hidden goals. The goals to deny love's here. Yet though he tries to keep its halo clear within his vision, still must he perceive its tarnished edges and its rusted core. His ineffectual mistakes appear as sins to him, because he looks upon the tarnish as his own, the rust a sign of deep unworthiness within himself. He who would still perceive the ego's goals and serve them as his own makes no mistakes, according to the dictates of his guide. This guidance teaches it is error to believe that sins are but mistakes. For who would suffer for his sins if this were so? Who would suffer for his sins if this were so? And so we come to the criteria for choice that is the hardest to believe, because its obviousness is overlaid with many levels of obscurity. If you feel any guilt about your choice, you have allowed the ego's goal to come between the real alternatives. And thus you do not realize there are but two. And the alternative you think you choose seems fearful and too dangerous to be nothingness it actually is. All things are valuable or valueless, worthy or not of being sought at all, entirely desirable or not worth the slightest effort to obtain. Choosing is easy just because of this. Complexity is nothing but a screen of smoke which hides the very simple fact that no decision can be difficult. No decision can be difficult. Jesus, will you show me a desire to experience decisions as difficult? That it's a difficult decision to know myself. What is the gain to you in learning this? It is far more than merely letting you make choices easily and without pain. Heaven itself is reached with empty hands and open minds, which come with nothing to find everything and claim it as their own. You will attempt to reach this state today with self-deception laid aside and with an honest willingness to value the truly valuable and the real. Our 2 extended practice periods of 15 minutes each begin with this. I will not value what is valueless, and only what has a value do I seek, for only that do I desire to find. Heaven. And then receive what waits for everyone who reaches unencumbered to the gate of heaven, which swings open as he comes. Should you begin to let yourself collect some needless burdens or believe you see some difficult decision facing you, be quick to answer with a simple thought. I will not value what is valueless, for what is valuable belongs to me. Heaven belongs to me. Heaven is the only thing I value. Amen. Thank you for this holy time together. You start to see there's nothing more precious than holding each other's hand and stepping to heaven together, really. Amen.